Mary was 72 when she first noticed it. She was standing in her driveway waving goodbye to her granddaughter. The wave lasted a second, but the back of her upper arm kept moving long after her hand stopped. She laughed it off at first. Most people do. They call it arm fat. They blame getting older. They buy a cream. They try a quick fix. Then they stop thinking about it. But what if that loose hanging tissue is telling you something much more important? What if the problem is not simply about appearance? Because in many cases, what you see on the outside is a reflection of changes happening underneath the skin. Changes that affect strength, movement, tissue health, and eventually your independence. I am Dr. Arthur Vance, and after years of working with older adults, I can tell you that most people misunderstand what causes sagging upper arms. They spend years focusing on the wrong target. They blame fat, they blame age, they blame genetics. Meanwhile, the real causes continue quietly progressing underneath the surface. As a son, I would never want my parents wasting money on expensive treatments that only hide the problem while the real issue keeps getting worse. Before we continue, subscribe to Dr. Arthur Vance, Senior Longevity and Strength, if your goal is to stay strong, active, and independent for as long as possible. And tell me your age in the comments. I always enjoy seeing who is watching and learning where our community is in their health journey. Now let's talk about what is actually happening. Most people look at the back of the arm and assume they are looking at fat, but your upper arm is made of several layers working together. There is skin, there is fat underneath the skin, there is connective tissue that helps hold everything in place, and beneath all of that sits muscle. When these layers are healthy, they move smoothly. The skin feels firmer, the tissue feels supported, the arm looks stronger, but over time, things begin to change. Blood flow becomes less efficient. Muscles receive less stimulation. Collagen production slows. Connective tissue loses some of its strength, and the result is something many people never expect. The layers stop working together the way they once did. Think about your daily routine. You carry shopping bags, you hold your phone, you eat meals, you reach forward constantly. Most of those movements use the front of the arm. The back of the arm often gets neglected. The main muscle in that area is called the triceps. Its job is to straighten the arm and provide support to the tissue sitting above it. But here is the problem. Most people rarely challenge that muscle during normal daily life. And when a muscle is not used regularly, it begins to lose strength. Now this next part is important. Imagine a tent supported by strong poles. When the poles are sturdy, the tent remains tight. When the poles weaken, the fabric begins to sag. Your skin works in a similar way. The muscle underneath acts like the support structure. When that support becomes weaker, the tissue above it starts to hang. That is one reason many people lose weight and still complain about loose upper arms. The issue was never only fat. The support system underneath changed too. Now look at this. Many people immediately start searching for creams, wraps, gadgets, and expensive procedures. But the body already has repair systems built into it. The question is whether we are giving those systems the signals they need to work. This is where movement becomes important, and not just general movement, targeted movement. One simple thing that can help is stimulating the tissue through gentle massage. Why? Because circulation matters. Every cell in your body depends on oxygen and nutrients delivered through blood flow. When circulation improves, tissue receives better support. When circulation remains poor, repair becomes slower. Many older adults never touch or work the back of their upper arms directly. The area simply becomes forgotten. A few minutes of gentle massage can help increase awareness of the tissue and encourage circulation to an area that may have been neglected for years. Now before we continue, remember this. None of this works overnight. That is where most people fail. They try something for a week. They see no dramatic change. Then they quit. The body does not rebuild itself in a few days. It rebuilds itself through repetition. The same reason exercise works. The same reason rehabilitation works. The same reason physical therapy works. Small actions repeated consistently create change. Now let's talk about the muscle itself. Because this is where many people see the biggest improvement. The triceps muscle sits directly beneath the tissue most people complain about. When that muscle becomes stronger, it provides more support underneath the skin. Think about building a house. You do not start with decorations. You start with the foundation. The triceps is part of that foundation. And the good news is that most people do not need a gym membership to begin strengthening it. One of the easiest starting points is the wall push-up. Many people underestimate it, but a wall push-up safely activates the muscles on the back of the arm while reducing stress on the joints. As strength improves, you can gradually make the exercise more challenging. That gradual increase is important. Muscles become stronger when they are asked to do slightly more than before. Not dramatically more, just a little more. And over time, those small improvements add up. Now this next part is where many people make a mistake. They focus entirely on strength, but flexibility matters too. Muscles are designed to move. Connective tissue is designed to move. When movement becomes limited, circulation suffers. Recovery becomes slower. The body becomes stiffer. That is why stretching should never be ignored. A simple stretch for the back of the arm before and after exercise can help maintain mobility and comfort. And after 60, mobility is often just as important as strength, because strength without mobility creates restriction. Mobility without strength creates instability. You need both. Now let me tell you something that surprises many people. Changes in the upper arms often do not happen alone. When I see loose tissue in the arms, I frequently see changes in other places too. The neck, the jawline, the abdomen, sometimes even the legs. Why? Because collagen affects the entire body. Collagen is one of the main structural proteins that helps provide support throughout your tissues. As collagen production naturally declines with age, multiple areas can begin changing at the same time. This is why focusing on only one body part often misses the bigger picture. The body works as a system. When the system improves, many areas improve together. And this brings us to something many people never think about: vitamin D. Most people hear vitamin D and immediately think about bones. That is only part of the story. Vitamin D plays a role in many processes throughout the body, and low levels become increasingly common as we age. People spend less time outdoors. The skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight, and many adults over 60 end up with levels that are lower than they realize. I am not telling you to run out and buy supplements today. I am telling you to know your numbers. A simple blood test can tell you where you stand, because guessing rarely works as well as measuring. Now this next point may be the most important part of today's discussion. After 60, stop chasing perfection. Start chasing consistency. Perfection is what causes people to quit. They want dramatic changes in 2 weeks. They want the body they had 30 years ago. And when that does not happen, they become discouraged. But think about it differently. Where do you want to be 6 months from now? 1 year from now? Do you want stronger arms, better posture, more confidence, more strength when carrying groceries, more ability to lift things around the house, more freedom to play with your grandchildren, more independence? Those goals matter far more than a quick cosmetic change, and they are achieved through daily habits, not miracle treatments, not expensive promises, not shortcuts, small actions repeated over time. So if you remember only one thing from today's conversation, remember this: loose upper arms are not always about fat. In many cases, they reflect changes in muscle support, circulation, collagen production, connective tissue health, and movement habits that have developed over many years. The good news is that many of these factors can be improved. Not instantly, not overnight, but steadily. And steady progress is what protects your future. Because the real goal is not simply tighter arms. The real goal is maintaining strength, confidence, movement, and independence as you grow older. Think about someone you care about: a spouse, a friend, a brother or sister, someone who complains about sagging arms and believes there is nothing they can do. Share this information with them, because understanding the real cause is often the first step toward making meaningful change. I am Dr. Arthur Vance, and your health is the only metric that matters. I will see you in the next consultation.